What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Now, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through where you can get mystical scrolls in the game to maximize your monsters. So before we dive into today's video, if you enjoy Summoners War content, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. It makes a huge difference and it really helps us grow the community. We would love to have you and we would love to talk Summoners War with you. So real quick, I just want to also note, feel free to leave a comment if you like this new setup that I've got going. I just got a nice green screen background, so it's pretty cool. Now I'm floating on top of the video. Still working out the kinks a little bit, so you might notice it's a little rough around the edges, but we will figure it out. But I didn't want to spend forever figuring out and not get a video up today, so let's get into it. Now, the first place that you get mystical scrolls is from completing the challenges. Now, we talked about this during our beginner series, but it's especially important that you pay attention and progress through the Monster Training 101, the daily dungeon tips, the Giant's Keep monsters, the fast leveling, the fuse, and the to the top. Various of these have mystical scrolls and various rewards that are actually going to help you in the game. So for example, when you max level a 3-star monster, you're going to get your first mystical scrolls. So those are the first ones that I want to talk about. I also want to mention that within the challenge, if you go to achievements, that some of the achievements also give you mystical scrolls. So be sure to look through all of the achievements and see if any of them provide you with mystical scrolls or crystals, which are well worth collecting in the game. For example, when you clear the Rift of Worlds level 3, you're going to get a mystical scroll. You also get some mystical scrolls for clearing some of the Kairos Dungeon, as well as some crystals for clearing the Kairos Dungeon elemental halls. So well worth looking through the challenges and the achievements to get some of those initial mystical scrolls. But what about when we are not in the initial game? What about as we progress? What about when we hit level 50 and we want additional scrolls? Well, the first place that you can get mystical scrolls is the shop. The magic shop is a great place to get mystical scrolls. And so every time you're playing and the hour refreshes, you want to check for mystical scrolls. Now, and this is a hack that some YouTubers and some Summoners War players like to play the game on, but you can actually refresh the magic shop several times and eventually you will get a mystical scroll. So I like to refresh the magic shop when I'm low on fodder and I need 2-star monsters. The caveat with refreshing the magic shop until you get a mystical scroll is that, one, you grab the unknown scroll every single time, especially if you're looking for fodder. And I personally like to grab the 2-star silver monsters because I think that they're an efficient use of mana. Now, here's the caveat. It costs crystals, right? And you're kind of taking a gamble on whether or not it's going to be more effective than the premium pack. So sometimes it works better than the premium pack. Sometimes it doesn't. Some people say you'll get, for every 90 or 750 crystals you spend, you're going to get way more mystical scrolls than you get in a premium pack. But I don't necessarily know that that has been the case for me. And as you can see, we're kind of just refreshing here for the sake of the video to show you that sometimes you get that mystical scroll and sometimes you don't. So let's continue through to see if we can show you actually getting a mystical scroll. Now I am going to limit this to about 100 crystals just so that we don't absolutely go nuts. But I just want to show you that there is power in refreshing the magic shop. So there's some really great YouTube videos out there of people showing themselves refreshing the magic shop and comparing it to premium scrolls. So I won't spend the 750 crystals here. One, because we're on the beginner account and I don't want to use up that valuable resource. But two, because lots of people have done it and you can check those out. So we'll probably call it here in a minute, but eventually you will hit a mystical scroll. Why don't we go a couple of more? I don't know about you guys, but when I watch videos like this, I'm like, my heart races. I'm like, oh my gosh, get a mystical scroll, get a mystical scroll, get a mystical scroll. And the Summoners War gods and the RNG gods just might not be on our side today. Let's go for 5 more refreshes. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. And mystical scroll? Nah. So, again, I wanted to do this, and I know you might be like, well, wasn't the whole point of this video to get mystical scrolls and you just didn't get one? Like, yeah, that is the point of the video, but I want to show you also that if you gamble this way, you can also get unlucky and get nothing. So we just spent, I want to say about 100 crystals, and we got 0. Oh, we got a mystical scroll. Boom, there it is. I was really hoping we'd get one before the end of that refresh. So again, you do get mystical scrolls from the magic shop, and if you're not game on refreshing, just remember that it does refresh every hour, and it's worth going in there every hour to check to see if you've got a mystical scroll hanging out. So that's the first place you're going to get mystical scrolls. The second place that you're going to get mystical scrolls without buying premium packs is in the Trial of Ascension, both hard and normal mode. When you clear level 30 and level 50, you're going to get a cumulative amount of 3 mystical scrolls. Now, if you're on normal, you'll be able to get there pretty easily, pretty early in the game. If you're on hard, it's going to be more of a mid-game, end-game play for you. So it's absolutely worth it to clear TOA 50 every single time if you're still in the monster collection phase of your journey, which you kind of always are. But it's definitely worth clearing Trial of Ascension to get some additional mystical scrolls. Now, the other place that I want to show you is the Arena Shop. Inside the Arena Shop, you can buy 3 mystical scrolls per week for 150 Arena points. Now, in my personal opinion, this is not a great use of your resources because you want to get that Devilmon every week for 180, and depending on how much you play and how much time you spend in the arena, you don't really have the resources to get the mystical scroll. Additionally, you should be working on leveling up your buildings, bringing that Ancient Sword and the Sky Tribe Totem, along with the Arcane Tower Booster, and the Water, Fire, Wind, Light, and Dark Sanctuary is going to increase the overall power, speed, attack of your monsters. So even though you can get mystical scrolls from the Arena Shop, I really wouldn't recommend it. Same thing with the World Arena Shop. If you're going to, this would be the place to do it because most of the the World Arena Shop is just skins or mounts for Aaliyah or backgrounds for your monsters. So if those don't catch your fancy and you're like, I really just want to play my odds for a 5-star, it might be worth it to grab that inside the World Arena. Same thing with the Guild Shop. You can grab them for 200 guild points apiece, but they are not priority over your 4-star weekly Rainbowmon, or if you're working towards getting the Ifrits, Theo or Tessa, the Water and Fire Ifrits or the Wind Ifrit, that's going to take priority over spending the money on a mystical scroll. Okay, so you can get them in the Guild Arena and World Arena Shop, and that's another place that you can get mystical scrolls. The next place that I want to talk about is the World Boss. Now, every single day once you get into the game, you want to fight the World Boss. You have a chance to get Legendary Scrolls, you have a chance to get Mystical Scrolls, you have a chance to get Devilmon. Now, is it rare? Abso-freaking-lutely. But you want to be in the World Boss every single day because just because it's rare doesn't mean you don't want to play the odds, right? So play the odds, go for it, see if you can get that mystical scroll every single day. I usually get a legendary scroll a few times a year. That's how rare it is. Maybe 2 or 3 times a year on my main account. But I do get mystical scrolls from time to time. Now, the next place that you can go to get mystical scrolls is going to be the Kairos Dungeon. Now, as you're farming the Kairos Dungeon, the Giants, Dragons, and Necropolis do have a chance to drop mystical scrolls. So it's well worth playing those dungeons to see if you can get mystical scrolls. The Hall of Magic and the Hall of Elements also have a chance to drop mystical scrolls. So when you're farming, which you should be doing every single day, especially if you're a new game player, especially if you're in the Giants phase of the game, you want to be farming that dungeon every single day. So don't neglect the dungeons, don't neglect the farming. It's absolutely worth it to get those results and to get those mystical scrolls. So the last place that we can look for mystical scrolls is the Rift of Worlds. And when you play the Rift Raid or any of the beasts, you have a chance to get mystical scrolls. Now, I will give you a word of caution. I'm doing this on my alt account, which is part of the beginner series, and so we haven't unlocked the beasts yet, but we will. And when you play the Rift Raid, you have a chance to get the scrolls. So you absolutely want to play this game. You absolutely want to get into the Rift Raid. The Rift Raid gives you grindstones and gems, which you can use to power up your runes, but it also has a chance of dropping mystical scrolls. Okay? Now, a couple of tips just to kind of recap what we covered. You can get mystical scrolls from the Glory Shop, which is the guild shop, the magic shop, from the World's Arena shop. You can go into Kairos Dungeon. You can go into the Trial of Ascension. You can go into the World Boss. You can go into the original achievements, the Rift of Worlds, and the Rift Bosses. And then the last place that I want to mention that you can get mystical scrolls, especially as a free game player, is inside of events. So there's regular events for the game. Right now they're doing the default 4-star level up event, and that's what I'm working on today. But you can see we can get mystical scrolls when we had 2,000 points, and we'll get some elemental scrolls when we get 5,000 points. So it's well worth it to pay attention to events to get mystical scrolls. Okay? Now the last thing that's worth noting is that, we said without premium packs, but you can go into the shop at any time and get a summoner's pack, a premium pack, or a premium pack 2. My personal preference is to go for a premium pack if you're gonna spend the money. If you're gonna spend the crystals, go for a premium pack. The premium pack 2, you have to choose an attribute scroll, which I don't love doing because I'd rather play the odds of the game. And you also only get one L&D scroll, which has a very statistically low chance of giving you lightning, which is a 4 or 5-star monster. And then finally, you can use real cash to buy packs that have mystical scrolls in them, or have the resources to buy mystical scrolls. So like Daily Pack 2 will give you a daily mystical scroll. Growth Pack 2 will give you a legendary and a darkness scroll. So, there are some really good resources that you can get in the game to get mystical scrolls. And so in today's video, I just wanted to show you all the places that you can go. Now, pro tip, if you want to take it to the next level and you want to get summons, try saving up your mystical scrolls for a summoning session. Now, I say this, but I am totally the pot calling the kettle black. I have a tendency to get my mystical scrolls, run with it, and be like, all right, I got one, I'm going to open it, right? So every time I get one, I open it. But if you wait a little bit longer, you're more likely to get quality monsters by racking up those mystical scrolls. And wait until you have 50, 60, 100 mystical scrolls, and that's going to make your summoning session a little more exciting. It's going to make it feel like you're making more progress in the game, unless you're a super early game player and you are like, I just need some new monsters, right? And so that would be a time to summon every single time. So there you have it, you guys. That's how to get mystical scrolls without buying premium packs and premium packs, which I would choose. I hope you got lots of value out of this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more Summoners War content. And until next time, keep gaming bananas.